This is going to be short, but this is something that's important for people to hear this one, right? I've been telling people we need to focus on real issues, right? And when I say real issues, I mean the issues that hit home the hardest. We need to focus on the things that we can support with documentation, things we can support with facts, right? Those are the things we got to focus on when we challenge candidates. It's very important. It's not because I'm trying to tell you guys we need to worry about respectability politics, how people look at us. It's not about that. It's not about that. So some people had this twisted. They don't know why. They just assume. They already have like a notion of why you would say, hey guys, let's focus on the big ish. Okay, the reason why we focus on the big ish is because if you don't focus on the big things, they use it against you in order to take weight away from your arguments. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't focus on big things, they can trivialize your concerns and paint you with a brush of trivial, like you're trivial. Yeah, trivial. Like you're trivial. Like the issues that you're talking about don't hold water. Now, the reason why I say that is going to be fully expressed in this clip that I'm about to share with you. Check this out, people. Real talk. Everybody check this out. Tell a friend. I'm telling you guys, you got to share this because this is going to be dropping some knowledge on y'all. This is important. Check out this clip and see why I say it's so important that we focus on the big stuff. Check this out, guys.
Criminal justice background is something that she could potentially lean into as opposed to away from. I think that she should confront all the fullness of her record, the strengths and the weaknesses. As far as her being black, she went to Howard University. She's an AKA.
Yep.
That's pretty black, last time I checked. So I think, the idea that, your blackness could be tested. I mean, maybe I talk a little bit too white to be completely black, according to some people. And I just think that test is an unfair test.
Yeah, it feels like Obama all over again.
Right, and I think that, Joy, she can be the fullness of who she is. She's part South Asian, she is part Jamaican, and she is American.
Yes.
And she went to Howard, and she's an AKA, so she's black. So there should not be any debate over criminal justice.
All right, guys, see now, this is why I say it's so important for us to focus on the big stuff, right? The big stuff. Because as you can see, this person here, Zerlina Maxwell, I think that's her name, who's standing up for Kamala, who's saying that we are focusing, that people are focusing on Kamala's color, her skin tone. That's just a way to deflate our arguments about Kamala. There are people that are talking about Kamala not being black. There would be people talking about that if she said she was Native American, or if people were saying she was Native American when she wasn't. Right? Right? We just saw that happen with Elizabeth Warren, right? People were saying, well, she wasn't Native American, and it became this big thing, and it swelled, and it swelled, and it swelled, and it swelled, and boom. It got all over Elizabeth Warren, made her look a little weak that she was even trying to defend it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that trivial that people had this concern. But what's more important is the substance of the issues that we have with Kamala. It's not just her skin tone. In fact, that should be the least of your concern what color she is. Listen, we are used in this country to having white presidents. We had one switch up. One change. And I know some people say Thomas Jefferson was half black or something, but I'm saying on the books, we had one change that differed. Out of 45 presidents, we had one who was half white and half black, right? And people lost their minds like we'll never, like all of a sudden black people are not used to having white presidents. So we've had one it don't make sense. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to take away the substantive arguments that we have about Kamala and put it all in the bucket of people just being irrational.
Okay, so I say with all love and warmth that part of the concern also for people who are progressive thinking and liberal-minded, or just progressive thinking in terms of just fix it, is that we all have these posters in our closet that is attached to a stick that we sometimes will cart out when we're talking about criminal justice policy and those statistics that you first heard when we opened it up, incarceration. And we run around with these signs, build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere, build more schools, we protest, build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. And it's this. I agree with that conceptually, but you have not addressed the reason I have 3 padlocks on my front door. So part of the discussion about reform of criminal justice policy has to be an acknowledgement that crime does occur, and especially when it is violent crime and serious crime, well, there should be a broad consensus that there should be serious and severe and swift consequence to crime. That, I think, is essential. And by the way, when you just break it down, everybody agrees.
People being focused on negativity or people being racist of all things. That's what they're trying to do. That's what this woman right here, Zelina Maxwell, a former surrogate or a worker or campaign staff for Hillary Clinton. And we know how A.M. Joy rolls. Joy Reid. All Hillary Clinton supporters. Well, Joy Reid used to be a Bernie supporter. That's until 2016 came. Then she became a Hillary supporter. But the bottom line is, we can't give them what they want. And what they want to do is to say, your concerns about criminal justice, not founded. In fact, they didn't even address it. She talked 2 seconds about criminal justice. When that's the main issue with Kamala Harris, the main issue with her is her criminal justice record, is her prosecution record. Not her sex life, not her skin tone, not her edges. And yeah, it is fishy that she would launch a campaign on MLK Day. Yeah, that's fishy. But what you gonna do? You can't control that. Anyone can do it. Beto O'Rourke could have done it. In my opinion, Bernie Sanders should have announced his on there. I mean, he did march with him. He did march with MLK. So that's the reason why I say, man, it's so important. That's why you haven't seen any videos where I'm focusing on Kamala's skin tone or focusing on Kamala's relationships with Willie Brown, or any of that. I don't focus on that. Because Kamala has given us so much ammunition that she cannot wiggle out of. Even though they've been giving her a pass, they've been letting her wiggle out of it. I saw Rachel Maddow give her a softball interview. She asked one question. She did not, when Kamala responded with a lie, she didn't question it.
Race. I remember watching it from up close. But I also know that you've been buffeted by tough controversies in both of those jobs. When you were the DA in San Francisco, there was a lab tech who was systematically messing with evidence.
Oh, yes.
And hundreds of convictions, hundreds of cases were dismissed because of that.
That's right.
When the judge in that lab tech case ruled on what happened, the judge said that prosecutors at the highest level of the DA's office, your office, had to know that there were serious problems at the crime lab, that lab tech was messing with evidence, and that anything she touched essentially was screwing up cases. How did that happen under your leadership without you knowing about it?
So the crime lab was run by the San Francisco Police Department, not by my office. It was run by the police department. There was a technician, to your point, who worked in that crime lab who was basically sniffing what she should have been measuring. And it turned out that hundreds of cases she had handled, and because of her misconduct, I was going to say her taint, but because of what we knew that she did, which was manipulate evidence, you're right. We dismissed those cases.
Hundreds
It was
of
the right, yes, hundreds of them, because it was the right thing to do. When somebody abuses their power, especially in law enforcement, there's going to have to be a consequence.
But did prosecutors working under you know about the concerns about that lab?
The prosecutors
which
in
is
my
what the judge
office
alleged.
did not know about it, at least said they did not know about it. But the result and the consequence is that cases that prosecutors had worked on were dismissed rightly, and it was my responsibility to say those cases will be dismissed because there has been an abuse in the system.
The truth is, Kamala Harris didn't voluntarily throw those cases out. She had to be forced to throw those cases out. In fact, she fought throwing those cases out even though she knew that the evidence had been tainted. There ain't no rebuttal for that. They ain't got nothing to do with who her mama is or who her daddy was. Nothing to do with that at all. Nothing to do with her being raised in Canada. All right? Nothing at all. I know it matters to some of us because we feel like we're being co-opted and used, our likeness being used against us, because that's what identity politics is when they do that, when they use your vulnerabilities against you in order to ingratiate themselves to you, but there's no policy.
Look, I understand that because that's the textbook Washington game. That's how our politics has been taught to be played. That's the lesson that she learned when the Republicans were doing that same thing to her back in the 1990s. So I understand it, and when you're running for the presidency, then you've got to expect it, and you've just got to kind of let it. That's what you got to do.
Kamala's on the record saying, hey, I ain't black. I'm American. I'm a proud American. I ain't black. So, let's move it on. And Zerlina Maxwell, see her for what she is. A careerist. She's not a revolutionary. She's here to get a job. That's it. That's all. Paycheck. She wants Joy Reid's paycheck. She wants a paycheck like Joy Reid. And based on this, was she in 60 seconds, in a 60-second sound clip, she mentioned Kamala's color twice. In 60 seconds. Nothing about the mothers that were fined $2,000. Nothing about Steve Mnuchin not being prosecuted. Nothing about, I don't know, the tainted evidence that Kamala wanted to continue to use even after the medical examiner was found to be corrupt. Nothing about it. Nothing about the fact that she wanted to use that evidence even though it was found to be corrupt. And she had to be forced to throw those cases out because she wanted to continue prosecuting. Nothing about her wanting to prosecute innocent men who have been found to be innocent after a DNA test and did not want to overturn the verdict. None of that's mentioned. Right to color, right to her color, and defending something that can't even be argued, which is what somebody identifies as. All right, so I'm gonna keep it moving, guys. Come on now. We can't let them get away with it. Don't let her get away. While you focusing on that, while you focusing on the cup she threw on the ground, they still in your TV. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Oh, damn that cup. Let's watch our TV. Let's they're going for the jewelry box.
Tim, Bruce from Oakland. How are you tonight?
Hey, what's up, Bruce? Talk to me.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I just want to touch base a little bit on Kamala. Let me tell you something about California here. I was born in Oakland, lived here all my life. 1976, we decriminalized small amounts of marijuana. It was just a citation and a kiss goodbye for possession under an ounce.
Wow.
Okay, all of a sudden Kamala Harris takes the DA's office, And it's just like the Nixon wars all over again. I'm surprised she didn't start spraying our crops with paraquat.
Damn.
Then, I did a little bit more research on her little deal with Steve Mnuchin. Turns out during her 2011 campaign, the Mnuchins donated $8,645 to her campaign.
Yeah, that sounds about
That
right.
was between One West Bank and personal donations from Mnuchin.
Yeah, sounds about right.
32,000 homes were repossessed by One West Bank. 35 of those homes belong to active duty military members overseas. That man is sitting as our Secretary of State, and it's on her head. None of those people got their homes back.
Dirty.
So, all you so-called patriots out there that are tuned in tonight, think about that. 35 of my veteran brothers and sisters came home to nothing. So think about that if you're going to check that box next to Kamala Harris.
It's real talk.
She's not for America. She's for her own frickin' pocketbook. Just like Hillary Clinton, just like 3/4 of the Democratic Party. Now, if Bernie don't throw his hat into the ring, I'm going to be 100% behind Tulsi Gabbard. Why? Because she's the only one that had the nerve to leave the corruption of the DNC to back the only person that could beat Donald Trump. She's got history. Sure, she's got history. But you know what? I like her history better than any freaking Democrat running. She wants to end these wars? Fine, let's end them. Let's let the corporations deal with their own loss. Why should we give up our blood of our young men and women for corporation profit? I'm sick of it. The military is a lie. Yeah. It's nothing but an arm of the corporations.
But folks, I'm just going to pose this to you. What Bruce just said to you about Kamala, doesn't that carry more weight than if she black or not? Don't get me wrong. I'm a black guy born in Washington, D.C. My mother from New York. My father's from D.C. All my family from here. We are descendants of slaves from this country who helped build this country. My mom grew up in segregation, so did my dad. Back of the bus, the whole nine. Fought for our rights in this country. I wasn't raised anywhere else. So it means something to me that someone gets to carry that, but isn't that, and hasn't lived my experience at all. That bothers me. But what bothers me more are all those homes that got foreclosed. And that her office wanted to prosecute, but she didn't. Everything that you pin her on, she said, oh, it wasn't me. I didn't even know about it. Oh, I don't know why my office decided to do it. Didn't you run the office? So my thing is this, guys, isn't it more? Doesn't it resound? Doesn't it have more resonance with you when we talk about those 35,000 homes, those 35 veterans away serving their country, come home to nothing? Doesn't that resonate with you more than anything else? Like, you know what I'm saying? The Matrice Richardson story that Scotty was telling us. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying these other stories, these other instances. I'm not saying you don't have a point. You got a point. But the points right here that Bruce just made, they matter even more, man. I think they hit harder. And if you're going into a boxing match and you got a nice right hand uppercut, don't be jabbing all night if you got that uppercut. Hit him with the uppercut. That's all I'm saying.